Hey everybody, welcome in. We're here to talk about some wide receivers today. We finally got Riley back.
Hey man, let's go. I was
Why
I
don't you
was
tell us a little bit
busy.
about your trip?
I was in the mountains, deep
Doing some man shit, huh?
into the Bob Marshall wilderness, doing some man shit. Listen here, I'm a huge proponent. Every year, you should do something in our life where we have at least a 50% chance of failure at. Part of it is people are getting too comfortable. I like to make myself uncomfortable. I think that may be because I'm not very intelligent. I'm a glutton for punishment, whatever you. But I like to go out and do hard shit, man shits. Had this bright idea. We're going to go do a 100-mile backpacking trip in the Bob Marshall wilderness, which is some of the meanest, most beautiful country God ever put together. It's south of Glacier National Park, ass load of bears, elevation gain between 4 and 10,000 feet. Special, man. It's special. Yeah, and we did 106 miles in that motherfucker. It was a blast.
It sounds like it. I need to get in on one of those trips because you guys do them typically every year, don't you?
Yeah, once a year. Yep, once a year. Next year we're doing Iceland, which is going to be less elevation gain, but we're going to still try and do a 100-miler in Iceland. And, you know, Patagonia's on the list, Machu Picchu. We did that a few years back. And then, you know, periodically we'll go out to like Kings Canyon in California. Or, you know, we just try to hit up different. We stay away from national parks, but, you know, Forest Service land, national wilderness. Fucking national parks too, like Disneyland. We showed up one time in Glacier National Park, northern Montana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And dude, like you can't even get into the ranger. You can't even get into the park unless you apply for like a car permit in March. So let's say you wake up in the morning on July 1st and you're like, I want to go backpacking today. Well, my tax dollars fund these national parks. I'm going to go backpack in my national park. You can't even get into the park that you pay for to apply for a standby permit. It's fucking bananas, bro. So we stay in Forest Service land, and yeah, no, it was a blast, man. That was a blast. I did zero thinking about fantasy football. I did zero thinking about work. I did zero thinking about the Alpha Road podcast. It was just me and my boy out there, just in nature, getting it done, man, doing man shit. Let's go.
Yes, sounds badass. Saw some of the pictures too. Looked like a beautiful trip.
You know, there's something to be said for earning your view. You know, a lot of people drive to the top or, you know, they'll park a half a mile away from some Instagram photo shoot, dude. And we got some views that we had to walk 50 miles to get. Yep. Shit was something, bro. Ass load of bears, by the way. Ass load of bears.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get eaten by no grizzly.
Fly fishing was epic. Dude, they're biting at everything right now. I could have put dog shit on my hook, man, and they'd have bit at it. Like, it was easy. These cutthroats, man, these rainbows, they're hungry.
All right, anyway, ready to get it?
This is a fantasy football podcast, Tim, not a backpacking podcast.
Sometimes we gotta talk about some real man shit, huh?
Yeah, we gotta talk about some man shit. People forget, man. People forget doing man shit's important. So top 10 wide receivers. What I miss? You did all kinds of shit.
Well, I did the wide receivers 11 through 20. Let's see.
You got Brandon Aiyuk in there?
Yes, I do. But he's
not in the top 10, huh? Okay.
No.
Right.
Well,
I see you.
He could move up depending on what happens, but I talked a little bit about that. But 20 was Metcalf, 19 was Cooper Kupp, 18 DJ Moore, 17 was Nico Collins, 16 was Michael Pittman, 15 was Debo, 14 is Devontae Adams, 13 was Mike Evans, 12 was Brandon Aiyuk, and 11 was Chris Olave. So
I like it. Hard to
argue. Get into the top 10 today. We're going to start off with a little rookie here, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, I love this guy. God, I love this guy. I followed him in college. He's got the pedigree. I'm interested to see how they use him. Super interested to see how they use him. Are they gonna put him in the slot? Is he gonna be a vertical guy? Like, I see him being like DK Metcalf year one, right? Remember when DK came in, right? He had Tyler Lockett already. Marvin Harrison doesn't have a Tyler Lockett on the other side, really, to demand double teams and that respect in the secondary. Dude, it doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters, man.
Defenses in college football threw everything they had at this cat, and he ate him up. His
Yeah.
route running is polished. His yards per reception, his yards per target led all of college football last year. And that's one of those metrics you look at, dude, that yards per target. He just, when the ball comes his way, he catches it and he makes something happen, man. I agree. Marvin Harrison, Jr., number 10.
Yeah, Kyler Murray typically hyper targets a quarterback, or I mean, like a wide receiver. Last
What
full
does that
season,
mean? Hyper targets, like just
it
gets like
means
focused, like lined in, dialed in.
lined in on one receiver.
Yep.
Last full season he played, he targeted DeAndre Hopkins 165 times. So I think you're going to see something similar with Marvin Harrison this year. He's got
Reminds
low
me of
target
like Big Ben and AB back in the day, where Big Ben was just like, I don't care, AB's going to be open, I'm going to throw the ball near AB, he's going to catch the ball 150 times a year.
Mm-hmm. And you're looking at, I mean, look at his target competition. I mean, you got Zay Jones, you got Michael Wilson. Trey McBride is his only really big target competition, in my opinion.
Don't sleep on Michael Wilson. Stanford, smart, big.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get his targets.
Yeah.
But it's not going to take away from Marvin Harrison Jr., in my opinion.
Especially not after what they invested in him.
The biggest question is, can Kyler Murray stay healthy? That's the only question for Marvin Harrison's value, because if Murray goes down, where does that leave him? Like, I
don't have Josh Dobbs anymore. Who's backing up Kyler?
Who is backing up Kyler?
You really
now?
can't look at that as a metric for who you draft, but
no. I'm not sure.
But that risk is there.
Yeah.
The risk is a metric for sure. Like Tua. Like, to me, I always look at Tyreek for some reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, as like this very slight risk, because Tua's made of glass.
Their backup is Desmond Ridder.
Oh yeah, they're fucked if Kyler goes down. He sucks.
Yeah.
To show you how much Desmond Ridder sucks, Drake London, who was completely off the map last year in all fantasy football drafts, is now being considered in many like a potential top 10 guy.
Yep, and he will be talked about here pretty soon. But yeah, Marvin Harrison, 6'4", 205 pounds. Current ADP, he's going off the board at wide receiver 9. Crazy for a rookie wide receiver who hasn't touched the field yet. Overall, he's going at 14, which tells you how big wide receiver is in fantasy this year. In the past, it's been all about the running back. Get the running back, get him soon and often. And this year, it seems to have swapped over to the wide receiver. As you'll see, a lot of the wide receivers we'll talk about today are going inside or right around the top 10 overall picks. Or top 15, top 20 overall picks anyways. But Drake London, the guy you just mentioned, is our our wide receiver 9. 6'4", 212 pounds. ADP is wide receiver 11. Overall, 18. So, QB upgrade.
900 yards last year with Desmond Ridder throwing him the ball.
Yep. So, and that's why he's going so soon. I mean, look at what Kirk Cousins did with Justin Jefferson, but Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I could throw him the
highest
ball.
paid receiver. So
yeah, he'd score.
Anybody
900.
can get him the ball. So
Drake London, year 3 too, ready for that year 3 leap.
Yep. QB upgrade, Kirk Cousins, coaching staff upgrade. We got rid of
big time coaching
Arthur
staff
Smith.
upgrade. Yeah, Raheem Morris.
Yep, bringing in the OC from, he was the passing game coordinator, I think, for the Rams, was it? Or maybe he was, I'm not sure. But they're bringing him in from the Rams for the new offensive coordinator. So he's under that Sean McVay system, which him and Shanahan produce coaches. So
people are going to have to respect, defenses are going to have to respect Kyle Pitts more now too, which is going to help open things up for Drake London.
Yep, which is the biggest worry with Drake London is the competition. I mean, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, he's going to take some targets. So how much does that limit his upside? Can he live up to this wide receiver, inside the wide receiver 1 area upside with that competition? that he's got to deal with. Kirk Cousins has proven he can support a wide receiver 1 and a tight end 1 with Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson. So I don't see it as being an issue. I think he can live inside that area, and he's going in the second round. I took him in the second round of that mock draft I did yesterday. As my second wide receiver, I took Garrett Wilson 1 and Drake London 2. So I like Drake London this year.
Number 9.
I
put Brandon Aiyuk here personally, but I can't be mad at the upside that Drake London offers. A lot of mouths to feed there in San Fran. He doesn't have a contract yet.
My biggest worry with Aiyuk right now is just what's going to happen. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to land? And like I said, a lot can adjust. He could pop up into that top 10, and I mentioned that in the talk about Brandon Aiyuk in the 11 through 20 was that he could pop up into the top 10 depending on what happens where he lands. We'll move on to number 8, Puka Nacua.
Puka.
6'2", 212 pounds. His current ADP is wide receiver 7. He's going overall at number 10, so inside the first round. Who would have thought?
Yeah, undrafted, right? Undrafted in all leagues last year, except for you. You had him in the first round, apparently.
No, I just drafted him late everywhere.
Knew that Puka was going to be Puka. But I'll tell you, man, finds those soft spots. Matt Stafford stays healthy. They got a average offensive line, maybe slightly above average. That left tackle note booms really come up. You give Matt Stafford time and he stays healthy, Puka's going to catch 120 balls.
Yep. He's coming off a monster rookie year, 160 targets, 1,486 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Big.
Built a crazy chemistry with Stafford year 1. He's in that high-powered Rams offense under Sean McVay. Crazy route running ability. Biggest worry with him is Kupp coming into camp fully healthy. How much does that affect his upside? It dropped his targets when Kupp came back week 5 last year, dropped Puka's targets from around 13 to around 8. So how much does that affect his upside? Will he be able to live up to the wide receiver 1 area with Kupp being fully healthy? And can Kupp stay fully healthy? I don't think anybody trusts that because he's averaged, I think, missed 6 games over the past 2 years. So I'd definitely take Puka in this area as the overall 10 late in the first round.
Puka's going to stay healthy. Kid's tougher than a $2 steak, man. He's going to get in there and he's going to play football.
He's 212 pounds, 6'2". He's a lot bigger than people realize he is. And he's just a bruiser. Not afraid of the contact. And that size and his route running ability, he's going to succeed.
How much does the resurgent running game with LA factor into this decision?
I mean,
when was the last time the Rams had a running back you really had to respect?
Really?
It's been a long time, right?
Yep.
Now defenses are respecting the running game. That really opened things up for them. I think they averaged 8 points a game higher last year than they did the year prior, and a lot of that was like, oh shit, man, we got a running back we got to focus on now.
Yeah, now they got 2. They got Kyren Williams and they brought in Blake Corum from Michigan, which I think has a lot to do. There's a lot going on with Kyren behind the scenes, I think, with his foot. I don't know what's going on, but there's some worry around camp and around talk about his foot. So I worry that we may see a little bit of Blake Corum. I may take him later in some drafts this year, just as a dart throw, in case Kyron's foot is more serious than what people are putting on.
He's a bit of a handcuff, but a guy you can lean on if Kyren goes down, no doubt.
Yep. But
I like the dynamic of the Rams offense. Sean McVay, I know they got a new OC, but I don't really think that matters. It's like when the Niners get a new OC. Like, who cares? Kyle Shanahan's the guy anyway.
Yeah. Sean McVay's calling plays, so it doesn't matter who their offensive coordinator is.
I love those videos where reporters will ask Sean McVay, like, hey, what was that play you called back in 2009 when you're coaching the Redskins and, that tight end ran that little out route and you guys won the game with a touchdown. He knows like all the plays by heart.
Yeah.
He just fucking remembers everything.
Yeah. Did you see the Chiefs Super Bowl ring?
No.
No, you have to look it up. It's pretty badass. They actually put the play that they want, the Mecole Hardman touchdown. They put the play on the back of the top of the ring.
Fuck that play.
Pretty badass
Bullshit
ring,
ass
though.
play.
All right, we'll move on to number 7, AJ Brown, 6'1", 226 pounds. ADP is wide receiver 6. Overall, not going off the board at 9, right ahead of Puka.
Stays healthy. Big target. Jalen's going to be hungry. New OC. He's going to get a lot of balls, bro. He's going to catch a lot of touchdowns this year. To me, he's probably a little too low here. Be honest with you.
And I can see it. Coming off career best 106 receptions, brand new contract. Obviously got paid to be that number 1, that alpha. Not a whole lot has changed in the offense beyond Saquon Barkley. My biggest worry with his it is. Biggest worry with his upside though is just all the weapons. How much will Jalen hyper target him enough to move him into that top 5 area? There's a lot of good receivers this year. A lot of good receivers in fantasy that we're talking about, obviously. So any of these guys can finish number 1. Any of these guys we're talking about can finish number 1 with the right targets, with catching the right amount of touchdowns, things like that. But I just have them there just because that offense just has so many weapons.
It's going to be a lot of high-scoring games in that division this year, too.
Mm-hmm. And that you got Devontae Smith, you got Dallas Goedert, you got Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown. I mean, that offense is loaded. And you got Jalen Hurts running the ball, too. So that takes a little bit away. And that's why I have him at 7. I couldn't even take him yesterday. I took the next guy we'll talk about. I took him over him in the first round, just because I like having that alpha receiver that is the clear number 1 target with a good quarterback throwing him the ball. So, you have any more thoughts on AJ Brown?
No, he's a stud. If he's available, I'm taking him.
Going to number 6, Garrett Wilson.
Man,
6 foot, 183 pounds.
Safe bet.
Yeah. DP's wide receiver 8. Overall, he's going number 12. So right at the end of the first round. Listen, Garrett Wilson, he's had garbage QBs pretty much his entire career. He was supposed to. There was all this hype built around him with Aaron Rodgers coming in last year, and 2 minutes in, Aaron Rodgers is out for the season. So still dealt with the garbage QB last year. Both seasons, he's topped 80 receptions and over 1,000 yards with guys like Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco throwing him the ball. I meant Flacco comeback player of the year last year, but still. Not a whole lot of competition for targets. He's got Mike Williams who came in, and the new rookie they brought in as well. But they're not going to compete with Wilson for targets. Wilson's going to be the main guy. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy all year, it's going to be the best QB that he's had throwing him the ball by far, not even close. So he should be over the 100 reception mark. He should probably be in the 1,300 to 1,400 yard mark.
168 targets last year for Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, but 80 receptions.
Yep.
So that just tells you how good those targets were. Worry is, will Rodgers be a shell of his former self?
No, he won't.
He's
going to be Aaron Rodgers, bro. You know it. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, and that's why I have him ranked at number 6, is because Aaron Rodgers still performs. When he steps on that field, he's a performer. He puts on a show. And I don't think it's going to be any different. It's just a matter, can he stay healthy, and will he be good coming off of that Achilles injury? So, yeah, I'm high on Garrett Wilson this year. I'm willing to take him late in the first round because he's going to go late in the first round after some of these other wide receivers that I had ranked behind him. So I'm willing to take him there. Moving in this top 5, these guys could all go as the wide receiver 1. I've done a bunch of mock drafts, and I've seen all these guys come off as the wide receiver 1. I wouldn't be mad at anybody taking them there. They're all gonna put numbers up. starting with number 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 6 foot, 202 pounds. ADP is wide receiver 5. He's overall number 6 off the board.
Big contract, great hands, man beater, zone beater, that offense. Ben Johnson, best OC in football. He's going to get the ball, dude. We're looking at 120, 140 catches, I think, for Amon-Ra this year. It's going to be a monster year for him. I think we're looking at I think we're looking at most leagues like Amon-Ra being the CD of last year, where most league winners are going to have him.
Yep, nothing's changed in that offense. Over his past 2 seasons, he's averaged 155 targets, over 1,300 yards in both of them. I have no worries with this pick. He's probably the only receiver in the top 10 that I don't have some sort of worry. Well, him and who we're going to have at number 1, but those two are the only two I don't have real worries with. Beyond that, even the next 3 that we talk about, I have some sort of worry with those picks. But Amon-Ra, he's going to get the ball. He's going to get
ADP 1.07, which puts him as the 7th pick. Yeah, like to your point, like all these guys are going to be ADP 1 point something. It just depends on your strategy and who else you got and who you see the most upside
and
with.
Who you trust more.
Jared Goff, man, is always healthy, throwing darts. The Lions scare me. We talked about this a couple podcasts ago. Lions scare me. I think they're going to be hungry. I think you're looking at St. Brown being wide receiver 1 by the end of the year.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to wide receiver 4. It's Justin Jefferson, 6'1", 195 pounds. ADP is currently wide receiver 3. He's going off the board overall at number 4. Dude just got paid.
I can't do it.
Monster contract, $35 million a year. O'Connell's offense should allow him to succeed pretty much no matter what. He's another one of those Sean McVay guys. Proof is Nick Mullen last year. Last 4 games, Justin Jefferson out over 400 yards. I think he had 2 touchdowns. He still succeeded. Still had a decent last 4 games with Nick Mullins throwing him the ball. Wide receiver 4 for me, basically because of that. This is my worries, that QB production limiting his upside. You put a elite quarterback with him, and he's my wide receiver 1, hands down, if he's got an elite quarterback throwing him the ball. But with either J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold throwing him the ball, I just feel his upside is limited a little bit. That's why I have him here at wide receiver number 4.
I think a good comp, go back to last year with Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud, right? When you look at historically, rookie quarterbacks, 80 receptions, 1,297 yards, 8 touchdowns, right? I think that's a good comp for Justin Jefferson. Go back a little further to 2015. You got Mike Evans and Jameis Winston, 74 receptions, 1,200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Go a little further back. You got Reggie Wayne, who was already proven under the Peyton Manning regime with Andrew Luck, 106 receptions, 1,355 yards, 3. I think those are all really good comps. Now, you've got Andrew Luck there and C.J. Stroud and Jameis Winston, who are all dudes, man. They're proven, right? They've been in the league a long time. Roddy White and Matt Ryan, right? When Matt Ryan was a rookie, 88 receptions, 1,382 yards. So I think there's a cap here on Justin Jefferson. That's why this is too high for me. Historically, when you look at what rookie QBs do with proven wide receivers, I still think you're going to see over 1,000 yards, assuming he stays healthy. A lot of question marks there. Justin Jefferson is not on my radar this year. I'm going to tell you.
Yep. Word around camp right now is Sam Darnold's leading that competition. That J.J. McCarthy is not performing right now.
Well, that just further buttresses my opinion then. If it's like, I got nothing against Sam Darnold. I've seen him make some crazy throws, but it's Sam fucking Darnold. Okay, like we're not talking about C.J. Stroud or Andrew Luck or even Jameis Winston in 2015 here. So I just think that those quarterbacks hurt all the other weapons a lot more than it hurts Justin Jefferson. That's why I have him up here. I think Jordan Addison, I'm not touching him this year, based on quarterbacks. Hawkinson, he may be a grab, but the problem is we don't know when he's going to come back from his injury. And
Aaron Jones may be a good outlet. He may be a good grab in the 6th, 7th round where he's going, just based off of the quarterbacks that they have throwing the
Vikings
ball.
are going to be a bad team. I'm just going to say it right now. They're going to be a bad team this year. You know, going back again, the number one season for a wideout with a rookie quarterback came in 2011 with Cam Newton throwing the ball to Steve Smith, 79 receptions for 1,394 yards. Right? Cam Newton was number one in the draft that year. He was a dude. Yeah, I'm staying away from Justin Jefferson. I see him getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Right. He's an emotional guy. He's going to be open. The ball's not going to come to him as consistently as he wants. I see that percolating down into a problem there in Minnesota.
Yeah, I just hope I don't have to make that decision. I just hope that he's not sitting there waiting for me.
I'm
I have to make that decision.
It's an easy decision for me, bro. Easy. You got to take emotions out of it. Yeah, he's had some good years. He's done some cool shit in the past, but it ain't about the name, man. It's about the player on the team. And this player on this team is not worthy.
All right, so let's move on to number 3.
ADP number 1.
Jamar Chase, 6 foot, 201 pounds. ADP is wide receiver 4. Overall is going number 5. Joe Burrow's healthy. Then I want Chase on my team. Last year, it was his worst season, and he still averaged 16.4 PPR points a game. And that was with Burrow hurt most of the year. My worry with Chase is the lack of running game. Will it affect... Or will it allow defenses to focus a little more on Chase? Either Zach Moss or Chase Brown. One of those two. So I'm sure both of them will have a hand in it, but those are the two backs right now. I still like Jamar
better than Jefferson 100% of the time.
I do too.
Yep.
With Joe Burrow throwing, absolutely. I'll take him every time over Jefferson this year just because Burrow's healthy and throwing the ball. I'd rather trust Burrow than trust J.J. McCarthy
Fantasy
or Sam
history
Darnold.
is littered with receivers who crushed it with a good quarterback and no running game. Just saying, happens every year.
For sure.
Look at Dallas last year and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Who was running the ball in Dallas? Right? CeeDee
Tony
was still
Pollard.
the man. Yeah, I see a CeeDee type year for Jamar Chase. 160 targets. You're probably looking at 1,500 yards, 10 tutties.
No, I could see that. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, any one of these top 5 guys could finish as the one. I think the biggest outlier there is probably Justin Jefferson. I think he's probably the one I would pick less to be able to finish one just because of that quarterback. But anyone in the top 5 can finish one based off who they are, depending on what happens in Minnesota. But our Chase can easily finish as that wide receiver 1 this year. I'd have no problems clicking the draft button on him. The fact that he's going after Justin Jefferson in drafts right now, ADP wise, blows me away.
What's the logic behind that? Like, what are people thinking, right? Because these are smart cats, experienced fantasy football cats, right? Are they being emotional about that, or are they just seeing the name and they're thinking,
it's got to be either that or they trust these quarterbacks a lot more than I do. But I don't trust them. I mean, Jefferson's going to get his. I don't see that logic of drafting.
What if it's
him
a dynasty draft and you got Jefferson and Chase right there side by side?
They're right now that to me they're pretty equal. I'd probably take Chase because we don't know the future of that Vikings team. We don't know if these two quarterbacks are going to succeed, who's going to take over for them if they don't. And Chase, I know they've got Burrow. They're going to pay Chase. Yeah, that's why they're not paying T. Higgins. They gave him that 1-year contract, but to me, T. Higgins is gone next year.
Well, he got the franchise tag,
even
right?
Better for Chase because, well, he did, but then they signed him to a 1-year deal
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's gone next year. I don't, because he's gonna want to be a wide receiver 1. He's gonna want to be paid like a wide receiver 1, and he's not gonna get that in Cincinnati with them having to pay Chase. So I see Higgins gone next year, which in Dynasty is even better for Chase because now he doesn't have that other alpha on the other side of the field that's demanding targets. So let's move on to our number 2, 30-year-old Tyreek Hill, 5'10", 191 pounds. ADP is wide receiver 2. Overall, going number 3. This guy defies all
consistent.
offense is built. Yeah, this offense is built for players just like Hill, that speedy player. They have speed all over the field. You can't guard them all. Age for me would typically be a worry, but it's not. He just set career highs in targets and yards per game last year. The only concern for me is if Waddle and A-Chain stay healthy all year, how much does that affect Hill? I don't think it'll affect him much. Tyreek is still going to get Tyreek numbers, in my opinion.
In the games last year that all three of those guys were healthy, he still averaged 120 yards a game and a touchdown and a half. So just saying.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters.
I have no problems pulling the trigger on Hill. That's my only worry, and it's hard to even have that as a worry. But I looked at every one of these guys and tried to figure out where their upside would be diminished, and I really feel like that's the only thing that will hurt Hill's upside is just those two taking on more of the workload. I just have a hard because neither one of them stayed healthy last year. A-Chain's a small player. Can he stay healthy? Waddle feels like he's always got some sort of thing nagging him. I feel like every Sunday I'm getting an alert about Waddle coming off the field with a limp or something. So can he stay healthy enough to affect Hill's upside? Beyond that, I have no issues drafting Hill. Like if he's there when I'm up to pick,
he's safe, man. Risk adverse. That's a risk adverse pick. If he's sitting there, you're not going to go wrong. And I'm all about the mitigating risk through probability. And Tyreek Hill just does it year in and year out.
Yeah, and beyond this next guy we'll talk about and Christian McCaffrey, I'm easily taking Hill. Like if he's the only one of these three left there, Hill's
last year
my
we were
draft
talking
pick.
about halfway through the season, is this going to break the single season receiving record? Remember that? That was like 3/4 of the way through the season almost. Yep. He was just crushing it, man. Like,
and that's his goal. He wants to bust the 2,000-yard mark. And
I think his coaches want it too. I think the fans want it. His coaches want it. The owner, Stephen Ross, there, he wants it. It's good PR for the team. Tyreek's hungry, and he's if there is a dude in the NFL that could eclipse 2,000 yards in a year, it's Tyreek Hill. There's not one other wide receiver in the league right now with a quarterback who has that potential. Tyreek is he's that guy.
Yeah, not with a situation. The only other player that I think could eclipse that is the next guy we're going to talk about. Number one on my list, CeeDee Lamb. 6'2", 200 pounds. ADP is wide receiver 1 overall. Overall, he's going number 2. 0 targets or competition for targets. I meant you got Brandon Cooks on the other side of the field who hasn't been anything the past couple of years, really, for the most part. I mean, he's had a couple flashes, but and Ferguson at tight end, maybe. But Dak's going to hyper-target CeeDee this year. Last year, he had 135 catches. I don't see that being any different this year. I think he's going to have more, to be honest. Your running game, you got Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn as your running backs. So I don't see anything affecting Lamb this year.
Volume, dude. He's going to have all the volume he wants. As many meals as he wants to eat, he's going to get.
And it doesn't matter what coverage they put on him. This dude succeeded against everything last year. He's just a monster. He goes up and he gets the ball. I think he's going to have a big year. I think him and Hill are going to be fighting over that leading receiver spot this year. I could easily see either one of them eclipsing that 2,000 mark if they get targeted enough.
Yeah, agreed. And then CD, you talk about touchdowns, right? I think CD's going to have more touchdowns than Tyreek. Tyreek's probably going to have more yards. CD's going to have the balls and the touchdowns, man. And that's what pays in these leagues.
Yep. No, for sure.
He plays indoors.
No worries.
Indoors in a weak division. You know, I know the Packers are doing some things, but yeah, he's going to be just fine. That's a set it and forget it number one.
Yeah, to me, there's two pretty much guarantees in this draft, and that's Christian McCaffrey as long as he stays healthy, and CeeDee Lamb as long as he stays healthy. Those two you're gonna get what you paid for. with those two players. I'll take either one. If I'm picks 1 or 2, whichever one number 1 takes, I'll take the other one. But number 1, obviously, we'll talk about in the future when we go over our running backs. But CeeDee Lamb is an easy pick for me if he's still there. But yeah, that's our top 10 receivers. Number 10, Marvin Harrison Jr. Number 9, Drake London. Number 8, Puka Nacua. 7, A.J. Brown. 6, Garrett Wilson. 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 4, Justin Jefferson. 3, Jamar Chase. 2, Tyreek Hill. And 1, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, let us know what you thought. Remember, hit that subscribe button in the bottom corner of the screen. Show us some love. Let us know the good. Let us know the bad. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Y'all be good.